please. Right, sorry. Hiya everyone. I hope everybody is okay. Welcome to Shams Don't Care. Now I'm going to have to say, because this is a serious subject, I'm really sorry about cancelling a few shows. Things have gone down. But you know, things are a bit okay now. So let's just get on with the show. I'm doing a case today. It's a serious case and it is an unsolved case. I'm hoping that you lot can help solve it. Right, let's start off. And I hope that you lot will enjoy this show. But I am going to say this show is not for entertainment purposes. I genuinely do like real life cases. I genuinely do want to solve this. This is no fake case. It is a real life case. A lot of you have asked me to cover it. I've tried doing my research. It's took a few days, and I'm glad yesterday that I actually took a day off. Sorry, my foot is itchy. I'm glad I took a day off yesterday. Family things, but I'm glad I did, because then today I found out a bit more research. And I'm going to do my research with you like how I would do it. So first of all, let's start off by saying my disclaimer. All my content is found on the public domain and I operate using the fair use guidelines together with my own opinions. This video is not for entertainment purposes. I'm hoping this video can give a little detail into something that might help the case. I genuinely do. I just don't know what to say. Seriously, I'm not really a crying person. Do you know what I mean? I'm just saying it because I like dealing with crying. But I don't want to offend that person's family, because this is a fresh case and this is still an ongoing case. So I have got to be careful about what I say, because I don't want to influence the case. And if it is my opinions, I will tell you lot, this is purely my opinions. So welcome to Sham's Mystery Time with Wine. I have not put this one either on monetization, because I don't see why I should monetize over someone's death. Just saying, it makes me, I just talked about it with my family and I feel a bit uncomfortable, because if that was me, I wouldn't like it. Right. So this is what we're going to do, people. We're going to play detective today. First board that we're going to have, yeah? We're going to call it the victim board. So let's put the victim, and today's victim is a lady. I have actually done extensive work and I'm hoping that I don't offend her family, her husband, her children or anyone else involved in this case. This lady is called Missy Beavers. A real name, I will go for you people. This lady's real name, gosh, I'm so scared about doing this, I'm not even going to lie. Sorry, those are just, see, oh God. She's a 45-year-old Christian lady. Her real name is Terry Leanne Strickland. She married a man, yeah. He was Mr. Beavers, aka Missy Beavers. But she went by the name Missy. Yeah, she was a 45-year-old mother of 3 girls. Now, Missy, I'm going to start off by talking about who Missy was. Then we'll go on to the crime scene. And then we'll go on to the suspects. But this is all the crime scenes and everything is all the things that I have gathered that are true evidence. So I'm not going to read out anything really. And if anything is fake or just presumptuous, I will just say that it is. Okay, because when it comes to things like this, I do find it a bit too sensitive. So, Terry Leanne Strickland. She was 45 years old when she got murdered. She was a mother of three, a married mother of three young ladies. Now, let's give a bit of a background story to Terry. She's a blonde lady. Lovely, good looking, do you know what I mean? Not gonna lie, she's fit. The girl looked fit. She was working in this store, yeah? And she met this woman. Now, I can't remember what this woman's called. But anyway, she met this woman, yeah. And when she met this woman, when she was younger and she worked in this store, this is like years ago, people, like in like 2000, early 2000. She met this woman and the woman turned around to Terry and she says, you know what, Terry? I love you so much. You're such a nice country girl. She's from America, by the way, people. She's like, you're such a nice country girl. You know what I'm going to do? Introduce you to my eldest son, Bobby. And Terry met Bobby and they got along wicked. Everything was wicked. Do you know, as every new relationship is, everything's wicked. So yeah, Terry, but we're not going to call her Terry from now on. We're going to call her Missy. So Missy, 9 months after she met Terry, she got married to him. You know what? You fall in love, you're young. You've met someone that you work with, everything's wonderful, and you're like, oh my gosh, and then they've introduced you to their child, and you're like, oh my gosh, jackpot! You're buzzing. So I can imagine that little Miss Terry was buzzing that she met. I keep forgetting his name, and I shouldn't have done it. Sorry. But I just keep saying her husband, Brandon. She met Brandon. Anyway. 9 months later, they got married. They went to Alaska on an Alaskan cruise for their honeymoon. Do you know what I mean? Everything was sweet. I'll tell you when this was. Now, people, this is what we're going to do. So, we've got Terry, a.k.a. We got Terry, who is a.k.a. Missy. So what do we know about Missy so far? Missy's married to Brandon. Yeah? She's a mom of three. Mom of three. Girls. Not that that matters. I've even got the girls' ages. A researcher. I did I've done that much research that it's... Woo. So she had Hannah in 2001. She got married, yeah, to one of her co-workers' sons. And she fell in love with him because on their first date, it was like, you know, one of them ones. He actually worked for a family business and he had a wedding to attend to. And he turned up on their first date in a tuxedo. This is the truth. No lie. Turned up in a tuxedo. And she's like, oh my gosh. As you would, it's like this man just turned up on a casual date in a tuxedo. Husband material. All have been the same. So yeah. So Terry, aka Missy, as we can see, yeah, she's a mom of 3 girls, and the girls are called Hannah. Hannah was born in 2001, just after the wedding. Then we had Ellie. She's born 2 years later, so I'm thinking 2003. Then, I don't know if it's Sarah or Sarah, but I think it's Sarah. It was 2005. It could have been 2006. But that's 4 years after the first daughter was born, Hannah. So 2001, 11, 21. The kids are about 20 years old now. 21 years old. Does that make sense? So her children, Missy's children, adults now, basically. And I genuinely want to give their mom justice. So I'm hoping that I'm just giving the facts here, people. Okay. So Missy got married to her husband. Everything was going sweet, yeah? You know, but we all know things go down in marriages, but we'll get back to that in a minute. We'll get back to the things. So we put on here affairs. Yeah, so on the board of Missy, we got affairs. Now, the next board that we've got is a crime scene. CS, which is for crime scene. Okay? Now here's a crime scene. There's a lot going on with this story, and there's a lot of people that can give you a bit more information, but here's a crime scene. It was April the 18th, 2006. Missy, being a mom of 3, she's a health nut. And the reason I wanted to give you Missy's backstory is because Missy married her husband. He wasn't so much of a health nut. Missy was very much a health nut. And when I say a health nut, you know, one of them ones. Posting videos of your kids, you're like, look at that, blah, 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 sports mom, blah, blah, blah. Do you know one of them ones? And she looked swell, and she looked good, and she looked like, So I'm guessing a few girls were a bit gel. Just admit it. A few girls was a bit gel. So Missy, she's running a class. When she had her babies, she decided to do an health class. She joined this group. I think it was called Gladiator. Let me get it right. Because I've got lots of notes here, people. And I don't want to get it wrong. But Missy joined a group. It was called Gladiator something. I want to get it right. Camp Gladiator. Camp Gladiator was started by these 2 couples. But the reason why Camp Gladiator was good was because it actually did show results. People look good. Do you know what I mean? And Missy wasn't like trying to shame people into fatness and, you know, like, ugh. She didn't. She was just like, you know what, come along, I know what it's like. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry about the noise outside. Really sorry. But Missy was like, you know, I know what it's like. Come along, join my camp. Rare, rare, rare. Everyone's there joining the camp. Anyway. Then, on top of this, people, after Missy's like 2 years after she had her first baby, 9 months after she met her husband, before she married him. She married him 9 months after she met him. Fucking hell, you can't concentrate with all this shit. She met her, I'm really sorry about this. 9 months after she met her husband through a work colleague, she married him. Then, and it was her work colleague's eldest son, then she had 3 girls with him. 2 years after she had her first daughter, that's when she decided, oh, you know what, let me just start a fitness class with that Gladiator crew. gladiator. Then, this is a thing about social media. Everyone goes on social media, don't we all? Yeah. And we do brag. We'll be like, oh, you know what? Today I'm cooking this. Tomorrow I'm doing that. Next week I'm going on holiday. Everyone brags on there. And it wasn't bragging, but Missy was just telling everyone this is when the class is going to be, blah, 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 blah. Now you lot need to remember this bit. Missy had a personal Facebook group, allegedly, she had a personal Facebook group, and she texted this group an hour before her murder to tell them that she was changing the locations. But before you say, oh my God, it's got to be someone on the Facebook group, wait, hold up. So let's get to it. So we got Terry, aka Missy, mum with 3 girls, married to Brandon. And everyone's going to be like, how is Brandon that done it? She left her house at 3:45 in the morning. And everyone's going to be like, why is she leaving her house at 3:45 in the morning? Because Missy liked to do classes early. A lot of people like to do classes early. It was raining that morning. And a lot of people thought the classes would have been cancelled. Plus, there was a couple of people that went to the classes as well that used to come a lot earlier than the regular class. But them 2 people was ruled out. One of them, there was a wheel blown on the tyres, so they wasn't there. And the other one had cancelled anyway, so wasn't them 2. Anyway, so they're ruled out as suspects. Anyway, at 4:16, Missy arrived at Creekside Church of Christ to start her camp gladiator class. So she went out to the car to get all the stuff. She arrived in her big truck, went to get all the stuff. Her husband wasn't at home. I don't know who had the kids. I don't know what happened, but her husband was 600 miles away fishing, as you will find out later on. But anyway, Missy had a class going. She went to the class. Like I said, she left her house at 3:45. She arrived at 4:16, approximately. And at 5 o'clock, she was found dead by the people that was supposed to attend the class. 5 o'clock in the morning. They done very early class. I know you lot, I'm like, what, 5 o'clock in the morning? Yeah, people do wake up at that time. Shit happens like that. But anyway, this was a Creekside Church, yeah, of Christ, in Texas. So then, and this is, I'm only stating facts. I'm not telling you, I'm just telling you what was reported. Now, her killer was caught on CCTV. And I bet him like, oh my gosh. So we've got her killer on CCTV. Yeah. And her killer was dressed in police gear. Walking through a church dressed in police gear. Now, the way they opened up the church, this is it. The mofo, yeah. There's a few discrepancies about this because we're not saying this is the killer. But down the road from the church, there was a shop opened that sold illegal guns. And the shop that sold illegal guns, yeah, had sold an illegal gun that night to someone. Allegedly. I'm going to say all this because the case is still ongoing. So allegedly, the shop had sold guns, yeah? Dodgy guns, people. So the dodgy guns were being sold. And this was like half an hour before Missy pulled up to the church. Because when you think about the suspects, you got to think, is it a family member? Is it someone she knows? Missy didn't have no enemies. But though they all say that, we ain't got no enemies. Everyone's got fucking enemies. Everyone's got enemies. But there's a few enemies, and there's a few suspects that we've got listed here, and I'll tell you the reasons why we got those suspects. But anyway, There was a car found, and I've recently researched this, and it was about 6 months ago that the case has been well, it's been opened anyway. But they found a car, and someone had reported this car at the time of Mrs. killing, and the police didn't take no notice. Allegedly. Allegedly. But anyway, this woman sells dodgy guns. There's a dodgy gun bought that night. Missy was found. Yes, in the kitchenette. Sorry, I shouldn't say. Missy was found in a certain area where there isn't no glass in that room, but there was glass found around her. And the person that had broke into the building, which I will get back to, the person was found. Well, sorry, Missy was found next to her body with torso injuries, head injuries and gun injuries. And the latest report that I have had was that Missy had died through gunshots. The person was dressed in a policeman's suit or a policewoman. Now that's another thing, because this person was between 5'2" and 5 foot. Let me get it right. I don't want to get this wrong, because this is us doing the elimination, yeah. 5'2" and 5'7". The person had dressed himself in SWAT gear, police gear. It had black gloves on, black suit, black visor, you know, the visors, black balaclava. This motherfucker knew what the fuck it was doing. The way it was trying to open a door was how a woman would open a door, not a man. Now, at first, when they reported her case, they said it was a man that done it. And then after they recorded it, they was like, nah, this is a woman. And I will get back to the suspects because, sorry, my foot's itching. They try blaming the husband, the affair partners, of both, you know. Because don't matter whoever gets killed, there's always going to be an affair partner involved in it. And no one can prove it. Once you're dead, how can you say I didn't have an affair? How can you say I was only chatting to that person just to relieve my fucking stress? Do you know what I mean? She can't defend herself. Does that make sense? So anyway, this person has turned up at 3:45 in the morning a.m. No, 3:50. Missy left her house at 3:45 in the morning. That's miles away from the church. Now, at Creekside Church, yeah. Someone turned up at 3:50 in the morning. They knew that there was no alarm on in the church. How would this person know there's no alarm on in this church? How would you know? Now, if you are a killer, you ain't risking that, are ya? Unless you know the area and you know someone's going to be... Why would you even turn up in the church at that time in the morning? Now, here's another thing. Man or woman ain't got no bag, you know. Now, if you're robbing somewhere, you're going to have a bag and shit like that, innit? There ain't no bag. Ain't no bag. Here's another thing. A few months after the lady got murdered, Missy, we found out that she done a Facebook thing, remember, saying, I'm changing the location. She changed it an hour before. Now, was this person one of her groups that knew, the girl's changing times, you know, an hour before? Or what? People have blamed her husband. He was 600 miles away that day fishing. It don't mean that the man didn't do it. I'm not saying that he did. I'm just saying you got to look at every avenue. Now, if a man was 600 miles away fishing, ain't it convenient that your wife died the same fucking day you went away fishing? Then his dad, oh my God, this just gets deeper and deeper. His dad, yeah, her father-in-law, it turned out that he went to a fucking laundrette. The father-in-law went to a laundrette with a blood-soaked shirt 3 days after she died or something like that, 3 or 4 days. And he goes, it was from a chihuahua because it turned out it was a true story though. That oh my God, this is so twisted. The husband of the woman that got murdered, Missy, her sister-in-law, the husband's sister, had a dog. The father-in-law, the husband's dad, went to the house and the dog had a fight with her dog, and then the chihuahua got killed, and then the mother, the stepmom of Missy's husband, she was holding their dog, and that's why there was an XXL shirt in the laundrette 3 days after a murder with blood all over it. But don't you find that weird? To me, you could be covering your path. Do you know where I'm coming from? That don't make no sense to me. Why would you be sitting there? Yeah. Do you know where I'm coming from? Why would you know that your daughter-in-law has just got murdered and then 3 days later you're taking a shirt, a cheap-ass motherfucking shirt to the dry cleaners? Why ain't nobody questioning that? Anyway, let me get you onto the next ones. Let's talk about the private Facebook messages that she changed an hour before. An hour before she got murdered, we had the only people in her class would know that she changed the fucking venue. But I don't genuinely think it could be anyone. It could be someone in her class. But there's a few things that I'm going to say in the video that's going to make you think, well, no, it couldn't have been them, Shams. Because you know what? You'll know why. You'll know why. You'll know why. You will. God. Let's talk about the person. This person is turned up in a car. It's a light-coloured car. On April. Hold on. I want to get it fucking right because I got the timeline here. 3:45 she left her house. 3:50 the burglar arrived at the church. 4:16 she arrived. But by 3:50, between 2:30 and 3:50, there is this certain car that I'm talking about that was seen around the area, circling like a fucking motherfucker. I'm thinking that's the killer. Of course, it's going to be the fucking killer. And I'll tell you another thing as well. The police released that Missy Beaver's killer, was a man. Then the next day, they had to say, well, hold on. Looking at the size and looking at the way it was, that looks like it was a fucking woman. I'm thinking her husband was having an affair as well. Or there was some jealous bitch around where she lived, yeah. And then she's like, you know what? I've had enough of that fucking cunt over there. Missy looks like a tough bitch. Now I'm thinking, Missy looks tough. This is what people ain't comprehending. Missy, if I'm looking at Missy now, I am a tough bitch. But I'm fucking doing no training. This bitch is training every day. So I'm thinking if I was to beat her up, I'd have to have a lot of temper in me to be able to tackle Missy. This is how you tackle people. You can't tackle people like, I'm in a bad mood. You got to be very fucking violent in a bad mood to tackle someone. And I'm thinking that person must have known Missy and must have had something, some venomous fucking stupidity of hatred towards her. They couldn't let it go, and that's why they killed her. I genuinely think someone killed her. Now, like we said, Brandon Beavers, her husband, was 600 miles away fishing. But you know what? I don't care. Brandon could have hired a fucking killer. But then we got Bobby Wayne Henry. He was someone that was a policeman that was at Missy's memorial. And he was walking the same way as the suspect that was caught on that CCTV camera that was killing Missy. We didn't see the person killing Missy. What we saw was the person entering the building. We don't know what happened after that. All we know was that Missy entered the building and she never left. So obviously that mofo killed fucking Missy. And I'm thinking, you know what? You knew that the building didn't have no security alarms. You knew every fucking thing. You didn't rob nothing out of the building, and you literally knew that Missy was going to be there at a certain time. You knew who Missy was. You was jealous of Missy. Missy's killer is someone that fucking knows her. This ain't no fucking random killing, and this ain't no burglary. But that is my opinion. That is just my opinion. Remember I told you that? That's just my opinion. But anyway, she was found, like I said, with puncture wounds to her head, puncture wounds to her torso, but then something come out that the reality of it is that she got shot and that's what killed her. But that hasn't been released to the public yet. That's just in the reports that I found. Bobby Wayne Henry was someone that he was in the church, like he was a church member and things like that. I think he used to work for the Navy and the Army in the USA. God, there's so much to these fucking cases. Absolutely unbelievable. Because if I was to talk about the suspects, I'll be talking about her husband, Bobby Wayne Henry, which is someone that knows her. He knows what time that her classes was, things like that. Do you know what I mean? And but the only thing about Bobby Wayne is he didn't fit the profile. He was over 6 foot tall, and the person found on CCTV was supposed to be between 5'2" and 5'6". But here is another thing. Then the police, a couple of months after Missy died, which they didn't release to a lot of people, they had 9 people that they had that they didn't want you to know through Missy's phone calls and things like that, that would tell you, oh, these are suspects, highly suspected suspects, you know what I mean? So 9 of them, Missy, don't know why she's even on the list. She's dead. But it could be that they thought she killed herself, which is possible, people. Then we had her husband. Obviously, your partner is always top of the list in your family. Then we had Mrs. father-in-law, Bobby's dad, and his wife. Yeah. So we had the father-in-law. I can't even read my own writing. Vicky and Randy. And then we also had Casey Williams from LinkedIn. Casey Williams is someone that she was texting just before she died, like within the last year of her dying. They had to look up, all the people that she was texting and people, things like that. So we had all that. We had a couple of more that I don't want to really divulge at the moment. Kevin Colvine was another one. Peter, just go back to the start. What it is, I'm talking about a lady that died. She's a 45-year-old mother of 3. Her real name is Terry. Sorry. I'm very nervous because I don't like talking about dead people. I just don't want to disrespect them. And I've got so many notes, so I get a bit confused. Her name is Terry Leanne Beavers, but they call her Missy Beavers. She was born Terry Leanne Strickland. She's a 45-year-old mother of 3 that died in 2016, April the 18th. She was found inside of a church in Texas, murdered, and the person that murdered her was found on a CCTV camera walking around. And that's the next thing I want to get to. The person that was found on the camera was walking around very confidently, walking around like, yeah, man, like the person. Now, if I didn't know somewhere, I'd be like looking through different rooms, like, oh my God, this person looked like he or she had scoped out the place. And I ain't gonna lie, my personal opinion is It's a woman. It's either a jail woman or someone that fucked the husband, or something like that, or someone in the family that's a woman. I genuinely think it's a woman, but that's my opinion. Yeah, do your research, people. There's so many people out there that have done so much. I don't want to be sitting on the fucking couch doing armchair. I'm just giving you the evidence. So yeah, when she was found with torso wounds. She was found with head injuries, and the police didn't release that she was found with gun wounds, or they released that there was gun wounds. But now I've just found out recently, thank God I've done my research, there was gun wounds, because now the case, if we was talking about it, it could have gone a complete different avenue, and now we're finding there's gun wounds. But what we need to concentrate on is the person on the CCTV camera, between 5'2" and 5'7". This person looked like a stocky build, between 5'2", which is my height, as tall as I am, and 5'7". So just slightly smaller than my baby father, basically. Do you know what I mean? And then on top of that, oh my gosh, I want to divulge more into this story a bit later on one of our mystery things, because I've gone 36 minutes over and I was only supposed to chat 20 minutes into it, and I've gone further than I should have done. I genuinely didn't mean to go this much into it, but I've got so many notes about it could be what the person looked like the person had a visor, the person that broke in had a light or a lamp on them, a light or a lamp. They had black gloves, a balaclava over their face, a helmet, black trousers, black boots, black, literally black, 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 but with a police SWAT suit that says police there and police there. And with a gun as well, but no bags, nothing to rob. They actually knew that there was no alarm in the place. Sorry, they was walking around the place confidently, like they actually knew what the outlook of the building was like. And there is something that I need to tell all ladies and gentlemen. When you leave your car and you're going into a building, regardless of whether it's your building or something you know, like where you work, always have a look around. If there's anything untoward, like any broken glass, anything like that, get back in your car and go away to safety. I'm just telling you for your own safety. There is a thing that's gone out. But if you do decide to enter into the building, if you see anything that's untoward, like a drawer open, anything like that, go away. We will divulge more into this case because it's been 38 minutes and I don't want to bore everyone. Yeah. But I'm hoping that I will go more into it another time. I'm hoping that you're liking this mystery. This one, I will give it a different name. But I just want to give the family respect and just say how I think without getting involved in the case, if that makes sense. So, if any of you have got any thoughts or if you do know anything, do contact the police. I think it's in Texas. Do truly contact the police. Right, I'm going to give it 10-15 minutes and I'm going to do a live show, everyone. And the next live show that we do is just for fun. So thank you for joining me on Sham's Mystery. I'll call this one part 1 and we will go back to part 2 when we can divulge more, where I can tell you a bit more about the suspects and things like that. Like I says, I don't want to earn no money off this, so this isn't being monetized. If you see an advert on this, skip the advert, because I don't see why we're paying people to get monetized for something we're trying to solve. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Go and have a toilet break and everything. Love you all. Back in a bit.